Talking Tough. This is the show that discusses all the cool things happening in Southwest Florida and the music scene and beyond, covering art, music events, music releases, and the ups and downs of being an artist.
We are streaming live from the beautiful Das Co-op in downtown Fort Myers. Thank you once again for letting us stream here every episode. And we are sponsored by Sexy Shoes. Sexy Shoes. Sexy Shoes. Sexy Shoes. Sexy Shoes. So,
I'm Frankie Cole.
And I'm Angela Page.
You guys don't know us already.
This is episode 27, y'all.
Yeah.
27.
I know.
We've done 27 of these bitches.
I know. We started at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And here we are.
It was like the second week of January?
Yeah.
I want to say.
I think so.
That's a long time. Give us a shout if you've been watching since the beginning. I would love to know who of our viewers can remember episode 1. Which we've come a long way. I don't even know if I remember episode 1, to be honest.
I don't either, but now I want to watch it.
Yes. Hey, Leslie.
Hello.
Hi.
So how are you guys doing?
Yeah, tell us how you're doing. We really want to know. We love you so much, so we want to know what is happening in your life, you know? What's good? What's bad? What's real? What's not real? What
is a ghost in a box?
Are you haunted? I mean, there's various things that we might want to know about what's going on with you. So, what about you, Frankie? How you doing?
I'm good. I have an ear infection.
Oh yeah,
I can't hear anything.
You went to urgent care?
I went to urgent care today.
Oh.
Yeah, I did go to the urgent care. The good news is that, well, actually, I don't have an ear infection. I thought I did, but there is a little bit of fluid and pressure. There's some pressure in my ear. I already feel pressure all the time, and it's in my ear. So I went to the doctor, and he prescribed me some cowbell.
I don't think that's what he prescribed you, but
he said all you need is more cowbell. I said yes, doctor.
Did you hear that? Cobras is looking for a cowbell player.
Yeah.
So hit up Frankie.
How are you?
All right. You know, summer is like my downtime. I went on that big trip and stuff, and I think I'm ready to do a summer hibernation. I want to get myself all organized and ready for season.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna do some summer hibernating. There was an eclipse today, the 2nd of 2 this month, and there's a full moon tonight. So if you're feeling wild and wacky, or if you feel yourself slowly turning into a wolf, you know why now. So that's why. So. If you are feeling like maybe you need to purge, the full moon is the best time to do it. Write down some things that you want to get rid of and then burn them, in a safe fire.
Yeah.
A safe fire.
I like that, a safe fire.
A safe fire.
Isn't LYR doing that?
I mean, yeah, but it's a witch's thing, If you picked up our zine, we have a little thing where you can mail us your greatest shame and we'll burn it for you, but as a side note, you should consider doing that yourself because it's a thing that witches do. And you burn sage or Palo Santo, whatever you prefer, And
it's cool you said that because I was reading a blog recently that was saying that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah, it's
like that.
Full moons and specifically an eclipse on a full moon is a great time to let go of some burdens. So I'm ready to unburden the shit out of myself.
Yeah,
so
I'm with you.
That's something I'm looking forward to.
I'm feeling the same way.
Yeah.
Let's go burn shit. Like this.
She put it. That's if you just started watching.
We
don't mean the local Walgreens.
No.
But we do mean this, a bundle of sage here, like this. Use this and turn your life around.
Cleanse your fucking life.
Cleanse your aura.
Yes.
The other thing that we wanted to kind of add on to this is something a little bit different, a little bit new, called Tell Me Something Good. Tell me something good. Yeah. So we want to know something good that's happened to you. Does anybody have something good that they want to share that happened to them in the last week or two? Frankie, I call on you.
Okay, so this is random. I don't know. If you don't know me, I like to be a courteous driver. I think that's a nice thing to do. So, recently, this is so stupid. I'm so stupid.
It's not stupid.
Okay,
nothing
recently,
is stupid.
I was driving, and this person needed to get over 2-3 lanes, and I was like, hey, I got you. Get over. And so they did, and it wasn't just a wave, or sometimes people don't wave, they go,
yeah.
And it just made me feel so happy. I know it's so small and stupid,
that's good.
but I was telling Colin, I was like, I don't know why, but that just makes me like giddy because I appreciate when people do that for me. So it's like even like a small act of kindness and just letting someone over into another lane can, I don't know,
make your day.
Yeah, for real.
And just getting like a hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's really sweet. That's cool.
Well, what about you? Tell me something good.
Well, one of my best friends visited me this past weekend from Miami, so that was really cool. And I got to spend all weekend with him, just, doing things around town and, having brunch at my house and just kicking it old school style. Yeah, I got an air fryer, and so it's because my cat peed on my toaster oven. That's literally the reason why. My cat peed on my toaster oven. One of them, he's not used to being inside so much anymore, and I've been trying to keep him inside, and that kind of proved to me that I need to keep him outside more so than inside.
Yeah.
And so since that, we were like, let's upgrade. And we bought an air fryer. So I made donuts. That was also a good thing that happened.
You thought it was your cat, but
How was your birthday?
How was my birthday? Thanks, Spency. So my birthday was pretty cool. It was really laid back. I had a really low-key birthday this year because I had gone out of town for 10 days before that. So my friend Kellen came over. That's who I was talking about, and we just chilled. It was cool. Just did some low-key shit. Enjoyed myself, like you're supposed to on your birthday. So if you want to tell us something good, be sure to drop it in the comments and we'll try to find it and read it throughout the episode. So yes. So anyway, I guess let's go on to our next segment here. What are you listening to? Walt. What are you listening to?
I appreciate Alita for showing me Lizzo because I was feeling down. And then she put on Lizzo, and I was like, this is some bad bitch music. But I also like that she does, really, she does, funny shit on some of her tracks. She's got, this,
she's silly.
Great laugh.
Yes.
And does crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So it's you're literally, if you need something to make you feel really, really good, to feel good, to, take you out of this, if you're, in the cloud over your head, you don't want a cloud there, listen to Lizzo.
Yeah.
That's what I suggest.
I agree. Lizzo is very entertaining, and she's super positive, and she's a classically trained musician and plays the flute, and there's a great video of her playing the flute and twerking. It's something that she does, very frequently. Yeah, so she's cool as shit. I love that. Before I tell you what I'm listening to, I want to read a comment from David Acevedo. Something good. Had a kick-ass weekend in Orlando with my family up there. That's great. It's always nice. Mercury retrograde is the perfect time to see old family and friends, which we're in Mercury retrograde right now. So that is, people Mercury Gatorade, whatever the losers say. So it's the perfect time.
David's listening to Keen.
Keen these days. Keen. Yeah, Keen that's a good band. I remember them. What am I listening to? Megan Thee Stallion, another hip hop artist on the come up. A lot of people have been talking about her, and I came across a song she did with Juicy J called Pop That Pussy in a 3-Point Stance, and it's so fucking funny, and I love it. Spencer's trying not to laugh. It's so dope and just energetic, and I don't know, so she's really great. She's just got this very bad bitch, vocal delivery. Female hip hop artist, female R&B artist. I think that's super on the rise, and I'm really loving it these days. So that's some dope shit. So yeah. So that is what we're listening to. If you have some good recommendations for us or our viewers, please make sure you drop it in the comments, and as we go through, we'll read them out. Yeah.
So last week we made a post.
We did,
and it was to post a picture of your pet.
Yes, and then we said we will rate them, but really what we ended up doing is picking our favorites. So each one of us picked a favorite pet,
which was the hardest decision of my life.
All of you have hella cute pets.
Yes.
I mean, not that there is such thing as an uncute pet, but I was like, oh no,
there's dogs wearing glasses and hats, and they're just
Spencer says there are uncute pets, but we don't. We outvote him. This is just a 3-man job now.
Yeah, this is. I loved it. But you know what? It was even just seeing. It reminds me of Tell Me Something Good.
Yeah.
If you're feeling sad, just go look at these pets.
Seriously,
look at that post.
Find the thread where we ask
great.
for pet pics. It's really good.
It really cheered me up. So we're gonna start with my pick. This is Megan Christina's Beardy, who is so freaking cute. He's like, hey,
He's got a little smile on his face.
I'm a reptile.
He's like,
I'm all
"What's up?
cute.
I'm a lizard.
He's super
What's
cute.
up, y'all?
Really
Look at
loves
how
it.
cute this
I
little guy
know.
is. He's a doll
He
face.
looks so stoned.
Did you? He looks hella stoned. Spencer says those red eyes, those permanent red eye.
But
That's
he just
cute.
looks like,
He's
hey.
so cute.
Yeah, so I really like that. Was my pick. So what was your pick?
What was my pick? So everyone probably thinks I'm gonna pick a cat. So and you're actually mistaken, which is kind of funny. I have a lot of cats, but I like all animals. So I actually picked Gwen McMillan's dog. I think the dog's name is Samson. But I'm a sucker for an animal sitting upright like a human wearing human clothes. And therefore, this was my pick. He's just the cutest little weirdo. I just loved his little weird face, and it's just like, I feel like I could make a meme out of that little doggo. I'm pretty sure that I
He
could.
really is.
Isn't
so
he the cutest
cute.
little munchkin in the world? So shout out, Gwen. Your doggo is a cute little monster, and I love him. So,
And then
Spencer. Spicy Spency.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
So we turn it?
No, I got it. Don't
Oh,
you
you
worry.
got
He's
it?
got his own cam.
Oh, yay!
His own little handy cam.
Good. Okay.
He's got it.
Because
So
he's the cutest human boy.
there was a lot of choices to be made here, and I'm gonna have to switch back to that other camera. But Sean Michael Ayat
Yes.
has this perfect angel wearing a Kirby hat, and I just love everything about him. Her or her. I'm not gendering your
I
animal.
think Pooh is a lady.
Pooh
This is Poo-Poo.
Poo-Poo
Oh my
is perfect.
Is perfect.
I didn't realize it was a Kirby hat.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a little
yeah.
Oh
hat.
my god.
And she's got her little tongue out.
So
little
what-
blep.
What kind of power do you think Kirby gets after he swallows the cat?
This cat, I don't know. I guess the ability to squish around, just lay down anywhere. I guess I don't know.
Be putty.
Putty, yes, putty.
Kurt probably grows like little kitty cat ears, little kitty cat tail, right?
I mean, I would love that.
I
I
think
would love that.
you
yes.
might die from cuteness.
Yes.
Yes.
Kirby's power is that you die from cuteness.
Now, I did need to get to something that I promised on the last
Oh God,
episode.
here we go.
Oh,
Vendetta.
no.
Spencer
So-
has a vendetta.
Not
I-
approved by me.
I have decided to do the one animal that I just absolutely can't stand, and it was
You're an asshole.
such an easy decision because Jesse Kaysen has a dog, and this dog, just look at him, no brains at all, just so dumb. Like he's just begging to be hated. Do you see this face?
Have you ever met Miles?
I know.
Miles is a
I know. The
a gentleman
worst
and
dog.
a scholar.
I'll take the words
He's a
right out of your
gentleman
mouth, Angela.
and a scholar.
The
I don't know
worst
what you
dog
mean.
ever
I
of
literally
all
don't
time.
know what you mean.
I'm gonna do a full episode for Jesse.
I'm
gonna
gonna
do
do a full
Jesse.
episode for Jesse's dog.
Dog too, yeah.
I wish that I had Jesse's dog, but I don't.
All right, well, that was our little segment for that. And if you didn't notice, we also this week made a post where we were asking for a pic of the best looking meal that you ate this week. So go find that post and drop a photo in. Next week we'll pick our 3 favorite meals and we'll showcase them. So go and do that.
Yeah,
when you get a chance.
We want to see your food.
We want to see your food.
We want to see your food.
Let's go back and read some of these comments. So, Xavier said that he got his first tattoo from his boyfriend and that made him so happy. That's right. Our wonderful producer, Spencer, just became starting to dabble in doing tattoos. So, he's starting, and he started with his BF.
Yeah,
That's so
first
exciting.
full color.
That's so exciting. And also,
Xavier
says
He's listening to
Electric
Electric
Guest.
Guest. I'll have to check that out.
That sounds cool. That's a cool name.
It does sound cool.
Yeah. All right.
David said, "Aw, Jesse's dog is adorable." Spencer.
He's wrong.
And I just noticed that Gwen just joined us, so I want to shout out one more time and tell Gwen, go back and watch the rest of this episode before, because I picked your dog as my favorite of that thread. So
Your dog is so
go
cute.
go back and watch the shout out we gave your dog. All right, so let's move on.
We're moving on to the next segment, which is Southwest Florida doesn't suck. So this is things that you can check out this weekend. We're going to start with Friday, July 19th. So the third Friday of every month, there's always Music Walk in downtown Fort Myers. What are you making a face for?
Because she's always making a face.
Okay, so there's Music Walk in downtown Fort Myers, and actually an artist that you can catch at the Standard is Morgan Marie and the Uptown Three. Morgan Marie is an amazing female singer. I've known her for years. I met her at the Pointy Bell open mic night, I believe, but I'm like super stoked that she's like gigging out so much. So this is the summer dinner concert series at the Standard, and this is 7 to 10. So if you guys want to go check that out. And I think Music Walk is what, 6 to 10? 6 to 10? So third Friday of every month. And then Saturday, July 20th, I'm super excited for this show. So because Cobras is playing, we're playing with Cabrera, and we're playing with Rocks Revolt in Naples at South Street. South Street's in Naples, and actually I'm really excited about this show because when I first started doing gigs at all, ever, this was the place I started 8 years ago. So this is the first place that I hosted open mics, how I got my foot in the music scene, and how I kind of got involved and, you know, started continuing doing what I was doing. So you can come to this event. This is a huge rock show, and this is again at South Street, Naples. The doors open at 7, and it's a $5 donation, and it's an all ages show. So I'm super stoked about that too. All ages. So and that's all for Southwest Florida Doesn't Suck.
Yes. So check out one of those shows this weekend, or both of those shows, and support the Southwest Florida music scene.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if there's anything else happening this weekend, drop it in the comments below.
Yeah, make sure that you're listing out events that you'd like people to see and know about. Yeah,
because we like to share it all in the music community.
For sure, and people will go back and read through the comments. So if we didn't mention it, make sure that you drop it in.
Gwen is playing at Remedies on Friday.
Gwen is playing at Remedies
did
on
say
Friday.
that she was playing at Remedies. That's great, and there's lots of good stuff going on this weekend. So including Spectrum, it's going to be at Nice Guys, another drag show. So make sure you check that out too. Lots of cool shit happening. So yeah. All right, well, let's move on to our next segment, which is our featured artist. So every week we feature one of the wonderful artists here at Das Co-op Gallery, and this week we feature Cheryl Dillon. She makes an assortment of glasswork and silverwork, and so we're going to showcase some of that stuff right now. Cheryl Dillon, and you can see all of her works and purchase her works here at Das Co-op Gallery in downtown Fort Myers. And we are so happy to have her featured on this show. So come down and check out her work.
Yep.
Yeah. So our next segment is our topic for the evening. We actually featured this topic a couple weeks back. Our producers, Spencer and Cute Robbie, had the opportunity to take over for us while I was out of town, and they addressed the topic of toxic masculinity. But we wanted to revisit this topic. Frankie and I also had some stuff we wanted to include, and Spence also had some things that he wanted to add as well. So we thought we'd just go ahead and revisit the topic. So we're going to start by asking our few questions, and then we'll start by talking to each other about the topic. And you guys, obviously, we want you to chime in, talk to us about the topic of toxic masculinity, and maybe address some of the things that we're gonna ask about. Yep. So let's start with our questions.
The first question: what are some of the ways you think toxic masculinity hurts everyone?
That's a big question, y'all.
Yeah.
How do you think toxic masculinity hurts folks? I actually have a link that I sent Spicy Spency, and it's an image that I wanted to utilize, which is the man box. And so they talked about this episode in the last episode that did talk something about toxic masculinity. The video with Tony Porter, the video A Call to Men. So this concept of the man box comes from that. And so you can kind of see these are some of the ways, and I'm just going to kind of read it really quick. Don't cry or openly express anger and emotions, with the exception of anger. Don't express weakness or fear. Demonstrate power control, especially over women. Aggression and dominance. Be a protector. Do not be like a woman. Be heterosexual. Do not be like a gay man. Be tough, athletic, strong, courageous. Make decision. Doesn't need help making decisions. Views women as objects and property. So, I mean, to me, that hurts people in a lot of different ways. First and foremost, it puts these drastic expectations on men that confine them. Literally, that's why it's called the man box. I love that example, because I think that men are huge victims of toxic masculinity in ways that maybe they don't even know or realize until they do some assessment on the roles that they've played. Spency.
I actually have something that I could roll real quick that I think is very interesting that could support that topic that is not copywritten.
Okay.
Cool.
So Spency has a video.
For a male, you gotta provide for the household. You have to, your job has to be higher paying than the woman's. I mean, according to these things that that we're taught and what was passed down from the the older heads, and that's not the case sometimes, and so I feel like if a male doesn't meet those expectations, maybe that male doesn't feel like he's accomplishing 150%, and that right there can in turn fuck with that person. You know what I'm saying? Like emotionally, it can so I feel like it can affect everybody, and just in a different way, because from the different ways that we were raised, it's just gonna hit everybody in a different way, but it's gonna hit you regardless. I don't know. I feel like there's no need for those stereotypes. Stereotypes need to go away. Like we're changing. We're growing as people, so they do need to be done away with, and in order for people to look through the same glasses, because not everybody's always gonna have that stereotype. Look, I can't talk to that person because they dress that way. I can't talk to that person because of the way they speak. Like that shit is.
So we use that example because I think in that segment, Frank kind of hits on a couple of these things, like the expectations that are set on men can kind of create these boundaries and force them into roles that maybe don't feel great. And the worst part of that is like the power structures of dominance. Dominance over women, dominance over the environment that they're in. The space they're in. So I think one of the biggest ways that it hurts people is that we see these expressions of power that are malformed, and that's really the case. So I don't know. Does anybody else want to chime in here? Who else has a thought on this?
I think a part that hurt is suppressing a lot of emotions. Like it's okay. Like everyone's sensitive, and everyone should be allowed to be sensitive. We're all human, So I think it's so seeing me growing up. A lot of the things that I saw, in my household or with friends that I went to school with, was a lot of men or boys suppressing, sensitive emotions, being not allowed to cry or anything like that. Where I think if you're sensitive, that's a strength,
Grow up, be a man.
Yeah.
Be a man about it.
Yeah. And I don't know.
That's something that was talked about in that Tony Porter video as well, the concept of like not letting boys cry, and you know, we coddle girls when they cry and we tell boys when they cry, I can't understand you when you're acting like that.
Yeah.
Go away and calm down and come back to me when you stop crying, and all these different things, and we don't let boys express those things, and then they become malformed in expressing feelings in general, which can result in some of these situations of power and dominance. They can manifest in ways that create problems for themselves and for other people, obviously. So what about you, Spency? What do you think? What are some of the ways that toxic masculinity hurts everyone?
Well, I mean, the don't be a homosexual thing kind of hits real close to home for me, where it's just like, I mean, I remember growing up hearing, just real quick warning, content warning, we're probably going to go into rape and some
Domestic
unfun
violence.
slurs and stuff, but like, yeah, growing up the whole time having people be like, oh, you can't wear that, that's gay. Like, I wrote a whole song about that,
Yeah.
like about how I feel about that.
Right.
And it sucks having a word that is literally just supposed to mean like lame or uncool, I guess is a better way of putting it, that is tied around who you are unchangeably, you know. And then not just that, like this power dominance over women sets, you know, is kind of a really disgusting thing that kind of plays into rape culture and all this, like, I don't know, men thinking that it's like mansplaining, all this fucking dumb bullshit that's like just been injected into us because society is this patriarchal bull hockey.
Yeah, it sort of seems like no matter who you are, the concept of being masculine or feminine boxes people in. So that's something that I think is also something we have to think about. Is, you know, there are parameters for femininity as well as being parameters for masculinity, and they can both be problematic, but in masculinity is the only thing that results in violence against women, violence against the general population. Most mass murderers are men. So I mean, there's a lot of, you could draw a lot of lines there. But I think that it's one of those things that, like, you know, we have to address. So that's kind of why we're on this topic. If you guys have anything that you want to add, you know, in terms of how you think it hurts people, anyone, it doesn't matter who, drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. But I will move on to the next question as well, and we'll see where we go with that one. Can you think of any examples of toxic masculinity you've experienced? That's a really hard one, and I'm not asking you to like divulge your worst moment in life, but there are also microaggressions. So from the smallest to the largest thing, can you think of any ways in which you've experienced toxic masculinity in your life? Do you have one? Do you have one?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few. I mean, first off, I know I can't be the only one, but fuck, do I hate being catcalled. Oh my god.
That's
Flip
probably
table.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most infuriating things. But I also often, because, you know, we host events and stuff,
right,
I bring in my equipment and all that stuff. And I carry in my equipment, and there's always that one guy that's like, here, I'll take it. And I'm like, I can do it. And it's not like, of course, like when help is offered, I do appreciate it. But because I'm like a young, small girl, I feel like sometimes it's like, especially when most of the places I'm at are bars, so you can only, you know, it's hard to deal with a lot of drunk people, but
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I the fact that I'm like not strong enough to carry in my equipment, or, you know, I don't know. It just makes me feel a certain way where it's like, no, I do pull like all the time. I want to bring in my own. I like to bring in my stuff. I have a certain way that I like to set up my equipment, and I don't mean to be so picky about it, but I am. And I do appreciate help when it's offered, but there's also, to me, there's a difference between help being offered and then someone making me feel like I'm weak. Yes. And that's what I don't like.
So I think that ties into that man box, because if you look at the rundown of it again, one of the things is seeing women as weak, And so part of me wonders with that situation, how much of it is somebody genuinely wanting to help, and how much of it is someone going, oh, look at that poor weak girl, she needs help. And I don't necessarily, I'm not saying like that, again, like I'm not riffing off of you here, I'm not saying that like, you know, people helping you is a bad thing, but at the same time, you kind of like wonder, like, where does that need come from? If they saw Colin, who plays with you all the time, lugging stuff in, would they go and help him in the same way that they would offer you the help?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you know, that's one of those things. Something you and I have talked about a lot is like getting catcalled on stage.
Oh,
so this
man,
is something
terrible.
that happens a lot to female performers, that, you know, we get told like, show us your boobs, or like, I don't know, some dumb shit from some person out there who sees us as an object. So this you know, I think goes into that man box section of objectification. It's like, we're there performing art. We're there to give something to the audience in the same way that, you know, any other musician, male, female, non-binary, whatever, somebody that wants to play is giving out their energy, and all you think about is them as an object, as their body or whatever. And so that is something I've experienced a lot.
Yeah.
Is just being like, especially the show us your boobs, or like, you know, and one time one dude was like, sucky sucky $5, which is not only just, it's racist as fuck. It's from Apocalypse Now, I think. And so I screamed back into the microphone, sucky sucky, go fuck yourself. You know, so I don't know, that's definitely one I've experienced a lot. What about you, Spency?
Being called fag, fucking all the time, and how that's like, that's a bad thing apparently. And it's like, man, I'm just over here trying, like, look, I grew up in the like metal scene, like that was my intro to music, and I absolutely love metal and I love aggressive music, but it just turning into like, I love moshing, but it ruined our scene because we had like these mosh crews that would come through and they're like fucking like just like big dick,
aggro as fuck.
yeah, just like a dick flexing contest. It's like, oh yeah, dude, I fucking punched this dude right in the face, like, and you know, when I was in the music scene, I was caught up in that like that bullshit fucking toxic environment, and it sucks because you don't know you're in it, and you don't know that like you're just, oh, this is what my friends are doing, yeah, we're gonna, you know, go fucking crowd walk real fast. Little do you know that you just like, one of your friends just like spin kicked someone in a wheelchair, and it's like, yeah, saw that happen. It was really gross. Wow. But it was the metal scene, it has always been this fucking boys club, and like then you've got these bands like Kitty, or any band that has a female in it, like all of a sudden she's the most objectified member of their band, when personally I think the metal boys should be objectified. It's very good looking. But what was it? We had a band up north where it had this female piano player, and they were heavy as hell. But it's like, listening to the way that people talked about her, listening to the ways that like some of my friends talked about her, it's disgusting. It's like, dude, this is just like a person.
Yeah, there was recently there was a singer, Lauren Tate from the band Hands Off Gretel, who posted something about being objectified at her shows, and the trolls responded by, you know, basically telling her that she deserved everything she got because of the way she dressed, and that if she didn't want to be looked at that way, then she shouldn't, you know, be dressing that way. And then they made dummy accounts that were like mocking her and all this stuff, and that ties into all of this toxic masculinity. So like, you know, a woman can't just dress the way she wants to dress because she wants to dress that way. It has to be, you know, a part of the objectification of her, you know, or women in general. So I think that's definitely one that we can say is true across the board.
Yeah, definitely. Being a performer, I think for sure, people, and for whatever reason, I don't know if you guys have had, but a lot of the time people just feel like they can just touch you.
Yeah.
And it's really like,
I've seen that happen to you a lot, actually.
It does. Also, another thing, sorry, now that I'm thinking about it, that people do to me, but a lot of guys, for some reason, have done to me, is like lift me up. And again, it's like literally like to hug me, they like pick me up. And there are some people where it's like if you're a close enough friend, I'm cool with it. There's a lot of people who do it, and it's like it's just uncomfortable just because I'm fucking small and female. It's just not cool. Just don't do it. You could shake my hand and I would still be, I'd be happier with that for sure. So yeah, it's the being objectified and also this feeling of being weak, and I don't like that.
Right.
I really don't.
Just the inference. Dix has a comment here. He says, gentlemen or chauvinists, there's a huge difference. Some of us will never stop being gents, period.
Yes, you are a gentleman.
That's absolutely true.
You are totally a gentleman.
I would say that the difference between chauvinism and being a gentleman is that you offer that same gentlemanly help or support to any person. Like, people are always like, oh, well, women don't want us to hold the door open and do these things. And it's like, no, we want you to do that for fucking everyone. Yeah. Don't do it for me because I'm a woman. Do it because you think that it's good to help other people. Your fellow person. That's just so, that's the difference to me, I would say. That's where I would go with that. We have one last question here. How can toxic masculinity be discussed without attacking someone's character? I don't know about you, but anytime I bring up this phrase, toxic masculinity, or like talk about it especially with men, with straight men, cis men, they get very upset about the concept that I'm saying that manliness is toxic. So I'm trying to figure out, what do you guys think is a good way to discuss this topic without getting to someone's soft spot? Like, how do we talk about this without being like them feeling like you're saying you're toxic? Because that's always the response. Like, is there an answer to that? I don't know. I would love to hear
explanation. Explanation of look, I'm not talking about toxic masculinity, or I'm not talking about masculinity as a whole. I'm talking about the bad parts of it, and there are, and you can't avoid that. People have to understand. I put it on the episode that we did, where it's like you've got a burger, which is a burger, and then you've got a cheeseburger, which is a burger with cheese. They're two different things. You could order two separate things off the menu, and it's like you've got masculinity, and then you've got, there's with cheese, only with garbage, pretty much. But it's also all of the effects of, the garbage masculinity that's fucking everything up. That's what it's supposed to encompass. And maybe we need to not be, so afraid to hear that we're wrong, or that a part of being a man is toxic. Maybe we need to not be so fragile about that, and that's not a hey, you need to toughen up statement. That's a look, no one's perfect, and look at how the things that you do can be affecting other people even if you don't know it.
Yeah, I love what you just said. Instead of, I feel like without attacking someone's character, it's not like some people who are too tough they're not sensitive enough to just listen, to just hear you out, which is can be very frustrating when it's like, no, be sensitive to and listen to what I'm telling you, to become a better person so that it's not toxic anymore.
Well, I don't want some woman explaining
and it's hard.
to me.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a great question, by the way.
Thanks.
That is good. That's good.
Well, how to bring it up?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're dealing with these fucking I don't want to hear it from a woman, it's on us as guys to be fucking bringing that shit up too. Yeah. Just as much as it's on ladies, but it's for some reason, because of the effects of toxic masculinity, of them not wanting to hear from women, mansplaining, blah, blah, blah bullshit, we should be the ones out there fucking being outspoken about this. I know fucking, Terry Crews, the fucking, Dwayne.
The Dwayne, the Rock Johnson.
Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
It fucking same way, where he's very outspoken about this shit, and it's that's what we need, is more fucking be a role model. You know, be a role model for the other people in your scene.
Yeah. I would say that it's pretty difficult. I'm not making excuses, of course, but I would say that it's pretty difficult because the structures of toxic masculinity have ways to deal with all of that. So one of the ways they deal with men who call out toxic masculinity is by calling them a girl. So I'm being like, oh, you're a pussy, you're this, and associating them with the weakness that they associate with femininity. So in order to slam each other back into this man box, they will chide each other for not following its rules. So it can be hard to live on the outside of that, and I recognize that. In the same way that, like I said before, as a woman, it can be hard to live outside of the confines of femininity. Women do that to each other too. But like I said, one doesn't result in murder and rape, etc. So that's why we talk about toxic masculinity much more. One of the ways I think that I've found that is kind of a good buffer to this is by trying to not use the word men. So a lot of times when I talk about this, I'll be like, men are X, or men do Y, or men is men. And for some reason, people identify that with that biological nomenclature so fucking much that when I use that word, they immediately think it's an attack on their character or who they are. So I try to say things like the constructs of masculinity do X, Y, Z. So instead of being like men do this, it's like the constructs of masculinity make it so. So I use all this fancy verbiage, I guess, because I have the language to talk about it. But I feel like part of the problem is people not wanting to try to change the way they phrase something, because I think given the opportunity, and maybe if culture changed enough to where we weren't teaching men to be slammed inside this man box, that there's men are not the problem. This system is the problem. So going from talking about men specifically to going to talk about a system, for me has worked sometimes. Still, it doesn't help. Sometimes not everybody's willing to listen to you. So, but for people who are willing to listen but they're having problems with the way that you discuss it because they're feeling like they're attacked, I try to take the personal identity aspects out of it. I don't know. That's just a suggestion.
What do you do when you can't get through?
That's a hard one. I don't know, man. I get exhausted by it. I'll be real. So, I don't know.
Because getting that, oh, it's so hard being a man. So hard. Everyone's attacking us straight white men.
The thing is it's hard to be anyone. I don't know if people realize how hard it is to be literally anyone, and I don't think anyone's saying that it's easy to be a person, just that, some are afforded certain privileges that make their voices louder and their options wider. Maybe. But no one likes the word privilege either. So, I don't really know.
Guawa.
Yeah. So, Frankie, you have anything you want to add?
I don't know. Yeah, it's hard. You said something if you can't break through to them.
Yeah.
Cuss them out. I'm just
no,
kidding.
my God.
Right?
Just kidding. Don't listen to that.
Tell me to fuck himself.
because that doesn't just.
It's hard. Well, and I'm obviously kidding. I'm very much a person who believes in equality for all. I really do.
Right.
And I think it's. That it is difficult when you can't break through, and it's often the case because some people are so, especially men, hard-headed, tough about it. When again that brings me back to I wish to see more sensitivity in the world, more sensitivity in really anyone. Because in the end, we're all human. We want to just be treated nicely.
Yeah.
Right?
Like objects.
Yeah.
Not, meant to feel weak or stupid or, we're all in this fucking world together, and I feel like we should all just be equal.
Yeah. So with that, I want to leave you with a couple of things. So I got this from a website called A Call to Men, and it is based on the Tony Porter video. And so this is some ways that we could reshape masculinity so that it is not so confining and difficult. So Frankie and I are going to switch off in reading these. And this is the document's called Principles of Healthy, Respectful Manhood. So the first one is to embrace and express a full range of emotion. Allow men and boys to cry. It's really important that you, as men, allow yourself to do that, and you allow other men and boys to do it as well. And validating men and boys' feelings. So the same way that, you shouldn't gaslight a woman and be like, that didn't happen to you because it wasn't your experience, you so too shouldn't do that to men. You can't invalidate their experiences. So,
2, not conforming to the pressure to always be fearless and in control. Allowing men and boys to be and act afraid. Allowing men and boys to ask for help.
That's something that we talked about too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the next one is valuing a woman's life, treating all people equally, and promoting the betterment of humanity. I mean, that's something anyone should do in general, right? Never using power, control, or violence. So I feel like that's very hard for most people also, but for men specifically, they're taught to really use that. Right?
Fight it.
Yeah. Never use gender-based attributes to bully or discriminate. So this is like kind of what Spencer was talking about, people calling him the F word and, using the word, oh, you're a pussy to talk about weakness. That's devaluation of women and feminine traits. So remember that.
Not using language that degenerates women and girls, not making or laughing at sexist jokes, not perpetuating negative stereotypes with phrases like you throw like a girl.
Yeah.
And I throw fucking hard, motherfuckers.
Yes.
I play softball.
So you never know what that phrase means. So it doesn't always, shouldn't mean weak, right?
Yeah.
So there's a couple more. Developing an interest in the experience of women and girls outside of sexual conquest. So not a machine that you put niceness in and sex comes out. That's not how women work. Listening to women and validating their experiences. So once again, don't tell us it didn't happen just because you don't think it did. Embracing female friendships. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
A lot of people say like, oh, men and women can't be friends. Bullshit. I have plenty of male friends who are straight men who, just are my friend. I think Frankie could say the same thing.
Yep.
And we hang out with them, without our partners. And so, because we're not machines, niceness and sex, that's not how it works. And there's one last one.
Last one, modeling a healthy, respectful manhood to other men and boys.
I feel like that went along with what Spence said.
Yeah.
About.
Yeah, well, it's up to us. I mean, like, if it's toxic masculinity and we're supposed to be the ones naturally exhibiting masculinity, then yeah, fucking be a good role model. Show people that it's like, this is how men act. This is what we do. No, we don't fucking degrade people because using women as the punchline. Oh, you drive like a girl, you throw like a girl, all that stuff. It's like, man, I wish I did half of the things that I did like a girl, because they could probably do it better. Like, I'm just saying, who run the world? Fucking evil
Girls.
white men.
Oh, yeah, evil white men. Yeah.
Not
I
forever.
think that Beyonce song is more like a wish rather than a truth. So that's our episode for this evening. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. Before we sign off, we want to address our missing member, Cute Robbie.
Cute Robbie.
We want to go ahead and tell everybody that Cute Robbie will no longer be with us for the show for the foreseeable future, but he went off to pursue his own beautiful creative pursuits.
Yep, doing videos and everything. So we love you, Cute Robbie.
We love you, Cute Robbie.
We love you so much.
So we're going to close out the show. We want to thank our sponsors, Sexy Shoes. Thank you, DOS Co-op, for letting us film and stream live here. And thank you to our producer, Spencer.
Spicy Spency.
Spicy Spencer.
And that's it for us, Talking Tough.
And we love you guys. I'm Frankie Colt. If you want to be a unicorn, go be a fucking unicorn.
I'm Angela Page. Do no harm, but take no shit. Yeah.
Unless it's on a cop car.